Good afternoon, everybody. I'm going to call the meeting to order for the New Ulm Heritage Preservation Commission. It's Monday, June 20th. Excuse me, it's July 18th.
Is that your retirement day?
I'm on retirement, right? Tuesday. I would look for, if anybody's had a chance to read through the minutes, please do so if you haven't, and I'll look for a motion to accept or make any corrections.
So I'll move on the minutes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Design review.
In front of you is a design review for Apalachian Vineyards, 227 North Minnesota. In your packet, there are some designs here and layouts of what the addition is going to look like, where we're taking down those two buildings. Mr. Nyers is here to answer any questions you might have of him on what the design's going to be and materials.
I have a question. Last time there was a meeting, Elwood had brought a rendering of. Well, he did show us a rendering of.
Do a rendering, and this is new, without going all the way through rendering, just in case you kicked it back and I had to do some additional changes.
Maybe since we have questions, would you mind please coming to the podium, please? State your name and address, please. Thank you.
Paul Nyers, my mailing address is 58608 County Road 21. The design is for both 227 and 225. It does extend across to 225 North Minnesota as well. I own both of the buildings through two different legal entities. The design that is in front of you, I had pushed all the way to rendering, believing that I was within the kind of off-street kind of design perspective. Renderings cost a fair amount of money for me, so I wanted to get approval of this before I went to full rendering on it.
Okay, I understand that. So my question is, since I am looking at the fascia or the front of the building on the side,
Yes.
correct?
That will be a flat roof look from the side with a very slight pitch towards Kaiserhof.
I saw that.
Okay.
It's a major change from that last plan
That
you
is,
submitted.
so I'd like to thank you for putting that effort in.
Yeah, yeah.
Because it does make a significant look change from the street front.
Yep.
And I know that renderings cost money and changes cost money, so
Yep.
I really am thankful for that. Now, with that understanding of how that front fascia looks, am I reading it correctly that it's going to be like a typical storefront where there's kind of like a false flatness to it, but if you looked at the side, there is an angle to that roof? Correct?
It's a very slight pitch. It's a 1/2 to 12-inch pitch for drainage, for snow load purposes, things like
Okay.
that.
Okay, and then how about things like, are you going to have things on the patio for your customers enjoying that are going to be above that?
That flat
Height
roof,
level,
That
yes.
flat roof that's
Yes.
dropped down a little bit.
Is that waist height or is that going to be shoulder height?
That flat roof area is at the same, roughly the same height as the KXLP space right now. So that's almost a complete just tear off and rebuild with modern, very energy efficient structural insulation panels. And so that section looks will look fairly similar. It is planned to be rooftop patio at some point. Whether or not that's initially in the initial build out or if that's delayed, it depends on costs and different things like that.
Okay, I guess my question is, if you were standing behind that false storefront on the top on your roof as a customer enjoying the patio, how high is that going to come up on, how much?
About 14 feet off the ground.
So people that are enjoying your rooftop will not be looking over the edge of that?
There would be a railing there for them to, if they wanted to see the like the third north side, or there actually is a planned courtyard kind of area then where the existing Mona Lena patio is.
But that's on the ground,
That's on the ground, yeah.
correct?
Okay. So do you understand my question? Like, if you were standing right here, is that only up to your waist, or is that, can you look
Well,
over?
42-inch guardrail is that's all they have to do, is a 42-inch
You're
guardrail?
talking about the roof.
Yeah.
Or the roof.
If you're
Roof is gonna be-
on the patio.
Roof is gonna be taller.
So like, it is sort of a screen to the people behind it that would be on the roof.
That's not in the initial plans, but that could be done if that's desired. I would think that you'd want it open from being able to connect people to the streetscape, things like that.
Well, see, that's my question is, like, if you develop this, and are you going to put trees there or patios with umbrellas and things like that that would be visible from behind this sign?
From behind the sign, so
The false front of the
That's not a
storefront.
false front. That taller portion will be full height. The one that's right up against the alley, that'll be at a 22-foot height. So
That's my
that
question.
for taller tanks and different things for that side of the production.
Okay.
But for right now, you're not planning on doing anything with a patio until later. I think what your question is, if somebody's up there, are they going to be able to see the street, or are you worried about
Well-
them falling off or something?
No. Well, maybe, like, that's the question is, if it gets developed into sort of an extension of a restaurant outdoor space up here, is this all of a sudden going to be a very modern thing on the inside of it that would overflow to that look? But it's certainly in development right now, and right now, this is a solid wall, to my understanding, if I point at it.
Right, and I
Right,
don't
do
see
you
any
understand?
measurements there, so I don't know what the height difference is there when you're coming up the steps.
Yeah. I don't know, like right here on this. If you were standing behind that, but you're saying that that's a solid roof. She hit. Right?
So this area right here, this is solid roof. This is where there would be roof top.
Okay, that explains a lot. Thank you.
I think sometimes it's hard for people to read blueprints. I mean, I have experience with it, but I'm just saying that the rendering that you had before was,
Yeah.
much better for a visual for some of us.
Yeah, and it's different. The
Right.
plan has changed a
Yeah.
little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then there's any commentary that you'd like to put in about the choice of material that you'll use on that fascia?
It'll be similar look to the prior with a brick at the a facial brick at the bottom portion, and then a board and batten look, I believe, is what we had, and above that kind of a facial brick across all the way that 14-foot height that's up to the bottom of the patio, and then above that with a board and batten look that's on that taller portion that goes up to 22 feet.
Do you understand what board and batten is?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, just checking.
And then your trim work on the very top is going to be out of what material?
It'll be architectural steel.
Okay.
Anybody else have any more questions? Put it to a motion to accept the plans as they are.
How do you want that, Elwood? Just like an elevation and architectural rendering of it? That's all we're gonna approve tonight?
Yeah,
Okay.
that'll work. And when if we get to that point with the front or the fascia and stuff, what we're making materials, we can come back and
Yeah.
Perfect.
This was last time.
Come on, somebody I'll motion to approve the elevations and the architectural roof line as submitted.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Look forward to seeing the progress.
Thanks.
And item number 2, Elwood.
This one is a sign design review for Stephen Andrews, the place of business 206 North Minnesota Street. It is a new business and a new business sign. The sign backing is the same that was there for the previous business. He has covered it up and painted the new sign on there.
Well, I have gotten several calls from local people that are not real happy with it. And I don't think it meets our criteria from what I'm guessing. I guess I'm looking to Elwood for a little more guidance on that.
Well, you got the same sign criteria as I've got in here. It's what what we should be looking for. That's the previous sign for Blue Blaze that was up there.
The size of it,
The-
at
the
least anyway,
face.
right?
Size of it, the blue mystical is probably about the same blue that was the Blue Blaze sign. The other enhancements are different than what was up there.
Could I point out to page 27 of the historical downtown preservation guidelines? In paragraph 5 on that page where it says signs should have a lettering typeface generally of the era of the building, such as letters in a script or a script serif font of the era. And then obviously, this is a historical building, right? This is
Correct.
totally in that district where we are trying to create an integrity of honoring the architecture of its time. And for me, this font is a fantastical, artistic, freehand font. And I feel that it is not parallel to this design standard on page 27.
I agree.
You know, first time since I've been on this board, I got to agree. I'm trying to absorb it. It just doesn't, it's not even close to our criteria.
Well, if you can correct me, Elwood, I mentioned it to Elwood, and they hadn't really come in to have any,
They had
a
no applied for
permit
sign
to have a
permit or-
signage, so they probably didn't even know what the guidelines were.
He was not informed of
Yeah.
So,
anything.
So Elwood, would you show them, like, you know how they did such a nice job with Jacob's Meidel Music Store with that solid black and then just the simple gold lettering, to give them an idea? Do you not think that that's fair? Or how would we as a commission suggest to them to make changes?
We don't want to be in the design business, but
But it gives an example
Right.
of a historic sign for somebody that might not understand.
what do you mean, the ones downtown? Okay, yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
yes, right. Because this person was contracted to kind of give the examples of, you know, this modern thing vibe that happened in the 70s. And if we try to encourage it through design to get a historical integrity again, these are some ideas. And they're photos in this book that are excellent.
I have a question. What is the era? You mentioned the historical.
Correct.
Era.
Well,
Who decides that?
Well, it's when the building was made. So this looks like an East
That's the
Lake
criteria?
Victorian. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So this is an East Lake Victorian, but do you know the exact date of the building?
Our design criteria goes from the late 1800s to 1953
Sure.
is what the timelines are for the downtown district.
Yeah.
That building,
what, what is this? 206.
206.
It was built in
1898.
1898.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, would the board be okay? I mean, granted, this was done without coming to the HPC. There was no sign permit either, was there?
Nope.
I mean, if we denied it and told them, come back with a design, if we approve it, then I'd also agree that he would get the percentage for funding.
Correct.
Were they understanding that what they did here is going to be permanent? Or did they just,
As long as the store's there, probably. I didn't have a whole lot of conversation with the
okay.
store owner.
Well, I can see them using the backboard. That was no problem. They can paint that whatever color they want. But I think they have to probably follow some more guidelines as far as what printing we would approve. And then let them know that we will reimburse them whatever the dollar amount is for them to do that.
Yeah. So obviously what they did there is kind of their logo sort of thing going, or,
You know, I can't even look at it though like it is a Subway or
right.
there is really no logo for
I
that
mean,
type of business.
their type of business is that their lettering, their, what, trying to.
Well, this is a freestyle hand lettering. It is not a professionally done commercial sign.
You know, is this on their business cards? Is this something they, or, you know, their letterhead, or is, you know, that's what I'm getting at. And, you know, do you want to carry out through that, or could they, come up with a different idea?
Yeah, it's up to you guys how you want to move forward with it.
Again, I agree with our president. A few people have brought it to my attention. That's the first time ever on a sign downtown. Like, what is that? HBC allowed that? Luckily, I could say, no, it was not approved.
Well, that's why I brought it up to Elwood's attention, because I got 2 phone calls, and I thought, well, okay, we probably should address it, because I drove by and looked at it too, and I'm thinking, I don't think this was brought to any of our meetings, and I know I haven't been to every meeting, but I don't remember it being on the agenda. So then Elwood was going to check to see if they even applied for a permit, which we found out that they didn't.
You know, I'll take a step, I'll be the heavy at it. I'm going to motion to deny the sign permit and have them resubmit, and they will still be eligible for the grant reimbursement.
I will second that.
Any more discussion?
Again, I feel this booklet, like, here's a commercial Herberger's, right? Where it is a corporate logo, but to make it recommended for the historical district, they take that and bring it to the level of the era of that building. And I think that's what this commission is for and what we should be working hard to achieve. So I feel if we give them this as a guideline and tell them that the standards cannot be free-handed with, you know, this level of quality, it needs to be commercial and professional. We're doing justice to downtown New Ulm.
With that said, we've had a first and a second. Everybody in favor?
Aye.
Nay? All right, Elwood, any more reports from the city?
I have nothing, no.
I have nothing either. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you all for coming out in the heat.